welcome to the onboarding for the solo 401k. My name is Scott Royal Smith. I'm the owner of Royal Legal Solutions. I'm joined here today with our COO, Gina Folk. We're going to be walking through the solo 401k onboarding. So let's just start with a brief refresher about the solo 401k and how it fits into the broader picture. Here, our solo 401k is generally recognized to be our biggest and most popular tax-saving vehicle by using the retirement accounts to avoid paying taxes. And that can either be a using this as a traditional 401k, or you can use this as a Roth 401k if you want to play tax on the money now and then contribute it and avoid the gains on it tax-free. Now, when we look at where the 401k fits in the overall picture, you'll remember that we have our asset holding company that holds all of our assets, which either is like a Wyoming LLC hub and like a hub and spoke model, or this could be a Delaware statutory trust, or this could be a series LLC. In any event, this will be an asset holding company of some sort. And then we have our operating company, which is a traditional LLC, typically owned by an anonymous trust. And all of this is ultimately owned by your living trust. So you have a living trust that owns all of your companies and owns all of your underlying assets. Now, where does a solo 401k fit in? The solo 401k and a self-directed IRA are both retirement accounts that fit underneath your operating company, which is a traditional LLC. That allows you to be able to do employee and employer contributions from your LLC or your S corporation into your solo 401k to be able to have those tax benefits. Now, when we look at our solo 401k, this number, this 56,000 number, increases every year. I think it's currently $58,000 and up to go to 61 here in 2022. So for accurate numbers on this, you actually need to check with what are the current numbers for IRS. But the important piece for us to realize here is that if you're married, each one of you can have a solo 401k to be able to maximize the amount of tax savings you're able to get through that solo 401k. And our solo 401k is such a great vehicle because we can avoid taxes on it, we can make investments with it, and we can also loan ourselves back up to 50% of the money if we need to. So if we have all the money and we're making all the investments with it, that's great. But if I ever come into a place that says, hey, I actually need some of that cash that I contributed to my solo 401k, great. You can make a loan, you have 5 years to repay it, and you pay about a 5% interest rate back into your own retirement account. Great. So now that's our overview of the solo 401k. And then Gina is going to pull up and share her screen with the email that I sent her that has the onboarding documentation link. So Gina, if you could share your screen and walk us through what we should be seeing in terms of our email.
Okay, solo 401k right there.
That's it right there.
Click. Easy as that.
So easy. And this is our questionnaire for the solo 401k. So we'll go ahead and start with just filling out your email and legal name. This is your legal name as it appears on your government ID and your phone number, so we can make sure to be able to get in contact with you if needed. This will be your date of birth. I think Gina is about 25. So
exactly. That's what I'm getting ready to change it to, 1998. I don't know how old that would make me, but good enough.
No, that's even better, right? It's like I'm 22, 23. I just graduated from college, don't you know? Here's the Social Security number. Your Social Security number, we need that number to be able to apply for the EIN as associated with the 401k. That EIN number is a business entity identification number for tax purposes. So when you go to the bank, they need to produce that EIN number. You also need to produce the 401k documentation, and then they're going to be able to open up your bank account for the solo 401k, and then you're able to fund the solo 401k and have those tax benefits. Your Social Security number here is what we need to be able to apply with IRS to say, hey, IRS, we need you to give us a new number that's associated with me. You know who I am from my government issued ID number, which is my Social Security number. And that's how IRS connects all of those. If you feel cautious about submitting your Social Security number through this secure method, you're also able to contact us by phone or through any other ways that you typically reach us that you feel most comfortable in being able to pass that information to us. So that way we can apply for that EIN number on your behalf. Great.
Yeah, so I see on here on the questionnaire, Scott, it says this is required to set up your bank account. Do you guys set up something specifically for me?
So we won't set up the bank account. You actually have to do that with the bank. But what we will do is go get the EIN number.
Got it. Okay.
So then you'll take the trust documentation and that EIN number, you'll take that into the bank, and then they'll open it up. If you're using one of our online banking partners like Solera Bank, it's just doing digital submissions to them, and then they'll open up the bank account for you.
Okay. Okay.
So here, if we have a new traditional LLC that we're forming for you, we'll have that EIN number as associated with that LLC. But if you have an existing LLC that we're going to use, then what we need is we need the EIN number of that existing LLC that will be the quote unquote employer that's going to be paying you and paying into the solo 401k. So in here, that could be, we can just generate, a random 9-number set for this fictitious EIN number for our existing LLC. If you don't have any existing LLC and we're forming a new LLC for you for this purpose, then just go ahead and leave it blank.
Okay. And maybe I'll just put in here for clarification, you are doing the LLC. That's fine.
Yeah, you're doing the LLC. Perfect.
Great.
So business information, this just needs to be, it's like the street address of your business. If this is you as a sole proprietorship, because you're not forming an LLC and you have no LLC to be able to fund the solo 401k, then this is going to be your personal information as a business information. Now this goes onto the solo 401k document, but this is not public knowledge.
Okay.
So in this instance, you can just list the name and address of the business, but if this is you, then it can go ahead and just be your personal address.
Okay. And that's, it's not going to be anywhere, because if I'm getting anonymity too, this isn't, I'm still going to be protected.
That's right. It's not any part of anything that's going to go out to the public. This is just onto the trust documentation, which the solo 401k is. The solo 401k is a type of trust. It's a solo 401k trust here.
Okay.
Now, when we look at the business entity information, that's what we're looking for that business information. It's going to be either you, because your business is a sole proprietorship, or it's an LLC, and where's that LLC located, right? Or the business address of that LLC. Now we look at the business entity. This is going to come into place that it's saying, well, what is the business entity that's associated with the solo 401k? So if you have a C corporation, S corporation, a partnership, a limited partnership, any of those are able to establish solo 401ks. The most common for us is always going to be the limited liability company or the sole proprietorship. So if we don't have any LLC set up at all, for the purposes of having operating company, like we talked about, no LLCs at all, that means it's going to be the sole proprietor, because now you personally are the operating company, right? So you're a sole proprietor there. If it's a limited liability company that you currently have existing, or one that we've set up for you, you're going to click the button for a limited liability company.
Okay.
So beneficiary of the solo 401k. This is who is entitled to the benefits of the solo 401k. So if we're setting up an estate plan for you, this would then be your living trust. The naming convention for a living trust is your name, living trust. So in this case, that would be the Gina Folk Living Trust. However, if you don't have an estate plan in place, that is going to be your personal name and your information associated with it.
Okay. So yeah, so since you're setting it up for me, this is my living trust. Okay.
This is going to be your living trust, and that's either the living trust that you currently have existing or the one that we're setting up for you. Should all follow the same naming convention. That's standard in the industry. Lastly, we have the home address that needs to be listed on the living trust, or I'm sorry, on the solo 401k documentation. It won't be part of any public record. So feel free to add your home address there. And then lastly, this is just a reminder of our refund policy. We ask that all questionnaires be completed within 30 days of after the time of purchase. That allows us to be able to fulfill our promise to you about the delivery timelines that we originally told you. We also want to confirm with you our 14-day refund policy, which ensures that if we have any change of circumstance, we want that to be able to tackle that within the first 14 days before we get too invested and get too far down the field with being able to produce this order. And that's what we feel is a reasonable and fair way for us both to treat each other inside of this partnership and creation of your business entities. So we just ask that you click that button to acknowledge that. If you'd like to have a copy of any of these responses sent to you, you're able to click that button. And then lastly, when you're completed, please hit the submit button. Great.
And we're good.
Now your responses have been sent in, and that is all there is to it for the formation of the solo 401k. Now, if you have any issues in the fulfilling out of that questionnaire, the right thing to do is to just go ahead and email us at support@royallegalsolutions.com, so that way we can help you tackle any part of those questionnaires that come up. And thank you. We're all done.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott.